Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today we have a very interesting topic to dive into, one that's sure to stir up some debates. We are going to talk about a politician who voted to end Obamacare. Yet, despite his position to the law, he himself has insurance through Obamacare. Yes, you heard that right. It's a situation that might leave a lot of people scratching their heads, and today we are going to break it down and examine how this all came to be.
Okay, y'all. Well, I just seen a video about the man who said he voted for Trump because Trump was gonna get rid of Obamacare. Y'all, now he mad because he is unemployed and he has insurance through the Affordable Care Act. He didn't know that was the same. He did not know that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act was the same thing. So you literally you freaking literally voted against your own interest. I am in tears, y'all. This show is hilarious. And then they said, that's the same thing. The look.
And you know what's sad? There's millions and millions of people who just can't understand and grasp the concept that that Obamacare and Affordable Care Act is the same thing. And when you try to explain it to them, they literally will look at you like, what do you mean it's the same thing? It's the same thing. I swear, these conservatives and the far right and anybody that just hated Obama because he was a black man that was a president. You gotta look at how ridiculous y'all are. Y'all really be voting against your own benefit, and you so stupid when somebody tell you common sense.
Alright, I don't have a dog in that fight, but it's funny to me, and it points out again how we idolize political parties and we put them up on such a pedestal, but most people don't even read past a 6th grade level who vote. Like, how could you not read the issue before you voted? These politicians got us fighting each other and voting against our own interest at all times. And we fall for it. Hook, line, sinker, every time. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Reading is fundamental.
They do this all the time. They do it all the time. Obamacare, that's unintentional. It's officially named the Affordable Care Act, but the Republicans, in an effort to rebrand it and make it look bad, just refer to it as Obamacare, and the name stuck. But yeah, that was kind of an ad hoc. In the state that I live in, Oklahoma, they did this with the Medicaid plan, the Medicaid program. So they expanded Medicaid. So at one point in history, they're shrinking it down now. It's going to be really bad for people. It's just, I'm just going to say this. I really hope people aren't laughing and making fun of folks in red states in this country, because there are people in red states all over the country that did the right thing, that voted for the person that was going to support and care for us and try and help this country be better. And we got outvoted by jokers like this Obamacare fool. So but I digress. I'm always doing that. In Oklahoma, the official branded name for Medicaid is Sooner Care. And they rebranded it. They renamed our Medicaid program Sooner Care because there were a ton of conservative right-wing folk who are mad at entitlements. They don't want people to have food stamps. They don't want people to have free health care. They think people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and work hard, work 3-4 jobs, because that's what it takes to survive, especially in places like Tulsa and Oklahoma City, like larger markets. Our cost of living has increased dramatically beyond the income levels of most folks, that you do actually have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. We are turning into coastal elites here, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, the conservatives were so mad about the expansion of Medicaid, which expanded to provide health care for children, by the way. It wasn't like, it doesn't guarantee health care for adults by any stretch of the imagination. It guarantees health care for low-income children. Anyway, and it's about to be cut again, more than likely, even though abortion is illegal. I digress. Anyway, they renamed it Sooner Care so that people wouldn't vote against it. They renamed Medicaid Sooner Care in the state of Oklahoma because Medicaid had a bad rap, because Medicaid, as it should be, is connected to entitlements, and people get mad at entitlements here. So they named it Sooner Care, so that no one complained. And sooner, by the way, is a word that has a connection to Oklahoma history. Lots of people are proud of it. I find that history to be absolutely abhorrent and disgusting. Not a fan of colonization. But yeah, they do that all the time. They rebrand things so that people will love or hate it, and then again, this is a weakness in the Republican side. They hear stuff and repeat it, and hear and repeat, and hear and repeat, and they never question it. They never question what it is. They never investigate. There is a ban on curiosity in the Republican Party, so they never question it, and they get caught up. There just needs to be more critical thinking across the board for all Americans. Like, everyone in the U.S. needs to just engage in more critical thinking. All of them. What are you going to do?
There's this American man who came on big social media and said that he voted for Trump because he wanted Trump to scrap Obamacare. Mind you, he's unemployed, right? And if anybody knows about the American healthcare system, it is privatized, which means that you have to pay for your treatments, and they can be very expensive. Nevertheless, he decided that he was going to vote for Donald Cheeto, translucent wig wearing as Trump, because he wanted Trump to scrap the Obamacare and continue with the Affordable Cares Act. Not realizing that when Obama launched Obamacare, he made it clear that it was the ACA. The Obamacare is the Affordable Cares Act. So he basically scrapped his entire privilege of getting discounted or cheap healthcare. But that was not what behooved me. What behooved me was when the nigga found out what was I saying? Yeah. When he found out, bitch, that Obamacare and the ACA was the same thing. Hear this nigga. Why don't they label them different? The nigga started complaining that they weren't labeled different. Sir, they are the same. Yo, listen, I need to, good night.
It's kind of astonishing how in the year of our Lord 2024, going on to 2025 now, there are people walking around today, U.S. citizens, who do not know that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare are one and the same. What's worse is that they are actively taking part in and benefiting from the Affordable Care Act and then trashing Obamacare every chance they get simply because that man's name is attached to it. You see, you can't underestimate stupid. It always finds a way. Now, I could understand if this confusion was happening when, the Affordable Care Act was first introduced, right? But we coming up on at least 10 years. I think it's been 10 years, in fact, right? And there are still people, most of them in the Maga mob, who don't know that my man Barry, the 44th president, got them affordable health care. I've been on Obamacare before. It's great. It's great. Cheapest health insurance I ever got. And they actively trashing it because there's nothing but air up here. It's crazy. I'll never forget. I used to work at the Best Buy in the Geek Squad. I was a computer technician. And I had this one coworker, white shorty. She was kind of fat, not gonna lie. Anyway, she was from Maine. Super awkward, introverted, nerdy little white girl, bro. And this was around the time where Trump was either campaigning or he was already in office, right? And me and her, we never had no problem. She was sweet, no issues whatsoever, right? But then, she's from Maine, and I was like, you probably one of them ones, bro. Like, I'm gonna be careful around you. And sure enough, I just happened to be talking about how I had to get on Obamacare because I turned 26. I had to get off my mom's insurance. And she was just like, I mean, good for you, but I mean, it really sucks that, taxpayers are being forced to da-da-da-da. The usual dribble, talking about how, taxpayers got to pay for that and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And I just so happened to ask her, like, what are you on? She's like, oh, I'm on ACA. I just looked at her like she was stupid. And then she's like, what? I'm like, you do know the Affordable Care Act is Obamacare. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. She's just like, no, they're different. And I was just looking at her like, this bitch fucking stupid. Ultimately, I let it go because it's not my job to challenge stupid where it stands. You just got to let somebody else handle that. But it just goes to show that some people just no brains up here.
Floyd Trump voter who said they voted for Trump because he promised to kill Obamacare, but says he hopes Trump keeps his hands off the Affordable Care Act, which he relies upon. Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act.
Oh my God. I literally just talked about this on one of my videos on my page. I talked about Trump's plan to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, and that so many people, I mean, almost everyone in America relies on the Affordable Care Act. There's so many benefits to the Affordable Care Act, but one of the main reasons that stands out is that the pre-existing conditions are banned. Like, an insurance company cannot rate you or give you a higher premium or deny you for insurance because you have a pre-existing conditions. There's a lot of protections on the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, and so many Republicans did not understand they are one and the same, and they voted.
When a politician votes to end or dismantle a policy that they themselves benefit from, it transcends mere hypocrisy. It reveals a fundamental disregard for the very people they are elected to serve. In the case of Obamacare, this isn't just a matter of political ideology or policy disagreements. It's a direct contradiction between the public stance they take and the personal advantages they derive from the same system. It's difficult not to view this as an example of atheism, where politicians play a game of do as I say, not as I do. By voting to end the Affordable Care Act while benefiting from it, they send a powerful message: the rules are different for them. Their own healthcare security is important, but the healthcare needs of average Americans are expendable. One of the most glaring issues here is the fact that the Obamacare was designed to help people who are the most vulnerable in the society, those who may not have access to employer-provided insurance or cannot afford expensive private plans. The ACA aims to extend healthcare access to millions of working-class families, many whom are one medical emergency away from financial ruin. For a lawmaker to vote against something that provides such essential coverage, especially when they themselves benefit from it, is a betrayal of their most basic duty to represent the people. It's not just a policy failure, it is a personal failure to act in the best interest of the public. What this also reveals is the stake divided between the lived reality of ordinary Americans and those in positions of power. For many of the public, securing affordable healthcare remains a daily struggle. Insurance premiums, deductibles, and out-of-pocket costs are major concerns that dictate much of their financial planning. In contrast, these politicians, by using the very system they seek to dismantle, remain shielded from the consequences of these struggles. This disparately highlights a deeper issue in our democracy. The disconnect between the people in charge and the people they supposed to serve is one thing for a lawmaker to oppose a policy on ideological grounds. Is another entirely when their own actions suggest they see no need to make the same sacrifice they are asking others to make. Moreover, the very fact that the ACA is a political flashpoint demonstrates how healthcare has become more about party lines and ideological warfare than about the tangible well-being of the citizens. The Affordable Care Act was a significant step toward making healthcare more accessible, and while it has its flaws, it undeniably gave millions of people the opportunity to obtain necessary medical care. For a politician to engage in repeated efforts to repeal it, despite personally relying on it, suggests that their ideological stance is more about scoring political points than finding solutions to complex issues of healthcare in America. They may publicly criticize Obamacare as a failed experiment, but their own use of it shows a troubling lack of consistency in their beliefs and policy. Hypocrisy doesn't stop at policy. It also plays into the broader culture of political corruption, where the elites feel benefit from systems they argue against for the rest of the society. For the public to see someone who works to end a law that benefits them while enjoying the personal perks of the law is a foster sense of distrust and cynicism about the motivations of our elected officials. It creates a climate where citizens feel as though the political class operates in a world apart, isolated from the consequences of their decisions. The type of behavior encourages the feeling that politics isn't about serving the people, but about protecting the privileges of those in power. It also raises larger ethical questions about the integrity of lawmakers. If a policy is bad for the country, as they claim, shouldn't they take the first step and stop benefiting from it themselves? It's easy to advocate for policy when there are no personal stakes involved, but when the politicians' own access to affordable healthcare is on the line, it suddenly becomes clear that their criticism may be more about political maneuvering than actual concerning for the American people. The art of continuing to use a system they actively working to undo is a fundamental contradiction, and is underscore how in many cases politics is less about principle and more about preserving power. For the constituents who rely on the ACA for their health insurance, the politicians' action can feel like a slap in the face. It tells them that their needs are secondary to politicians' career goals and their struggles are not worth fighting for. They are left to wonder why the politician doesn't believe in the system enough to make the sacrifice they demand of others. If the law is flawed, why should the politician accept its benefits? Why millions of working-class Americans struggle to make ends meet without similar privileges? The situation underscored the importance of holding public officials accountable not only for their vote but for the hypocrisy inherent in their action. We need leaders who are willing to walk the talk, those who understand the challenges their policy impose on everyday citizens and are not so easily shaded by the safety net their position offers. If politicians truly want to represent the people, they must show the courage to put their actions where their words are. Anything less is similar perpetuating the same broken system that leaves ordinary Americans behind. In conclusion, when politicians vote to dismantle a policy like Obamacare while personally benefiting from it, it exposes a deep hypocrisy that undermines both their credibility and the public trust. This behavior highlights a glaring disconnect between the lives of those they represent and their own isolated reality. It's not only diminishing the integrity of the policy making process but also fosters cynicism among the very people they are supposed to serve. For a politician to advocate for the repeal of a program that provides essential healthcare to millions while enjoying benefits themselves suggests that their decisions are driven more by political gain than genuine concern for their well-being of constituents. is a stark reminder that leadership should be about saving the public good, not preserving personal privileges. To restore trust and ensure meaningful progress, we need leaders who are willing to act with consistency, integrity, and empathy, who will put the needs of the people above their own self-interest. Only they can hope we build a political system that works for people. Thank you for watching, and let us continue this conversation in the comments below. Let us share our thoughts and perspectives with one another. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on this story and more. I will see you in the next video.